Thank you, and thanks for inviting me to this great event. A lot of interesting things have been shared from the stage today, and I'll try to bring our perspective to Internet of Things and especially to the smart city concepts. So I would like to just follow up on, there was a question before, how do you bring general system integrations and platform services together with the operational technologies and the industry skills? And that's what we're trying to do at HP. So we've been working, we're a big technology company naturally. We have the technologies, the platforms, but we do have industry-specific capabilities. So you're not going to see us everywhere, but in selected industries we will be bringing all this together and contribute with the industry value as well. Looking at the evolution, so my point is not to discuss numbers. You've probably seen several examples of how many devices, how many sensors, billions and billions will be deployed. That's not really the point. The point is the growth is significant. So we're talking about 20 to 25% growth year over year in the years to come. You can hardly imagine any industry that will not be impacted somehow by Internet of Things technologies and standards. So the way we have seen this evolution is starting with the first phases where you typically get things connected for traditional industrial internet use cases, monitoring, remote monitoring, automation kind of use cases. Second wave being many companies are trying to deploy new type of services, so add incremental value to the current products and support services companies are providing by enabling applications or user insights, better user experience by enabling technologies like IoT. And then finally the third wave, which a lot of companies and organization entities are looking into right now, is the complete transformation into as a service. So you've seen that, so a good example is Rolls-Royce not selling jet engines anymore, they sell jet engine as a service. We're working with construction companies who are selling crane lifting services as a service. So trying to transform the experience and trying to transform the entire business model to as a service. When we're looking at the smart cities, or what we prefer to call it future cities at HP, we believe in our experience it has to be citizen-centric. So the value needs to be centered around the citizens. In our experience, there's typically 6 areas that you need to address if you want to become a smart city or a future city. Starting with the livable city, so you need to have, people need to feel safe, first of all. They need to have educational opportunities, they need to have green space, they need to have comfortable life standards. So quality of life is very important. Then, like we heard, the focus from San Francisco, you need to enable the new business. So you need to accommodate a friendly environment to attract new businesses, companies and people, talent, skills to the business. City needs to be connected. We heard that from San Francisco as well, how they deployed Wi-Fi access all over the city. So it's not just about connectivity in terms of technology, but it's about transportation systems, road systems and so on. So really enable the connectivity in the city. As a public entity, as a city or as a government, you need to provide high quality smart services, public services. So you need to open up all the data, you need to enable new type of services to the citizens. Agility and resilience is about emergency situations, so you need to be connected to the safety, you need to be able to quickly recover should something happen, you need to have emergency services to support the entire city community. And then finally you need the collaborative innovation. And what we mean by that is you need to enable all the organizations, public, governmental organizations, non-profit organizations, companies, citizens, you need to enable this community to work together, share data, work together for all these new use cases. So a lot of aspects to be managed and typically addressed, like we heard this morning, in a program approach where regulatory requirements, government initiatives are driving all these aspects all together. So as I said, the core of it, citizen-centric outcome. So once we look at these different aspects I just mentioned, we can start to connect all the resources we have in the environment. So all the managed resources like energy and connectivity and capacity in the city environment. The connected places, cities, homes, public places, companies, and finally all the things that are integrated. So this is how we're bringing the IoT aspect into the future city before. So future city, as I mentioned, can be addressed without IoT, but applying the IoT technology really creates some new use cases and some new possibilities to combine all this together. Just want to mention one example. We worked with the Auckland Transport in New Zealand in order to provide a more safe city. So in terms of enabling safety on the streets, monitoring what's going on the streets, increasing all the safety around the public communities. Another aspect was to provide, to ease the traffic congestion, to solve some of the traffic issues they have, direct parking spaces to the people who needs it. So all this was brought together, integrating many of the domains I mentioned, integrating with technology, new technology like CCTV cameras in the streets for real-time monitoring of what's going on the streets, monitoring people, monitoring traffic and cars in the streets, and integrating all this with the social media and news channels for feeding information and addressing the citizens directly with relevant information you can subscribe to. So this is a live case. I believe today we have real-time video analytics on more than 2,000 video cameras in the city, monitoring the traffic, providing real-time information on Twitter or Facebook news feed channels. So in order to efficiently manage all these different aspects of IoT, we found that one thing is the vertical use cases for the different industries or different public use cases. A similar, equally important requirement is to have a horizontal IoT platform that can combine it all. So combining the domains of all the connectivity, where you have the different technologies, long-range networks, traditional mobile networks, Wi-Fi networks, fixed wireless networks, all the different connectivity domains. Connecting the smart environments, be it street lamps or smart meters or parking sensors, whatever sensor in the city, and enabling it for the applications. So multiple different applications can consume from the same data, but providing different user experience, different use cases supported by that. So this is what we have brought together in the HP IoT platform. This is partly existing technology that is already in the marketplace, partly some new technologies that are being adopted to the IoT world. But basically what we provide, run out of the cloud and complete end-to-end solution, bringing the IoT connectivity, analytics and applications together under a single umbrella platform. The capabilities covers all the different technologies you would need to connect in today's and in the future technology environment. It adds the capability of managing the life cycle of all the devices, so you need to deploy them, you need to manage them, you need to decommission them again. And with a special emphasis on the data analytics part. So all the data that comes from all these millions of sensors needs to be analyzed to create the value for the consumer. And on top, you need to expose it into an open data layer, into applications, or connect into relevant business processes at the companies and the government organizations. I would like to invite you to come and see. We have a demo out here where we demonstrate, based on this technology platform, we demonstrate an environment where we span across the multiple domains. So showing smart metering from the homes or industry organizations, smart lighting in the street, environmental sensors, and smart homes or smart buildings. So this is a demonstration we put just right outside the door here that demonstrates the capability to connect many different technologies over different standards and bring it all into one single open data platform that can allow you to put new use case that spans across these different domains. So imagine a city or as a citizen how you want to see both your public services and your smart home data, for instance. So this can be demonstrated on request here. Then finally, a few other examples. So I don't want to go into details, but a lot of the smart city projects that we've been involved in is really around the citizen-centric focus. So it's about enabling all the data a city typically have about the citizens already to provide new smart government or city services. So just want to point out one more example, Norfolk in the UK. So this is actually not yet enabled with a lot of IoT technology, but it enables a lot of the city services to the community. So it brings healthcare and education services directly to the people based on mobile applications, interaction with the people. So very, very advanced example of how data from multiple domains and multiple organizations has been put together, providing absolutely new value to the citizens. Then finally, a few words about HP here. So we believe we're the first to bring together the different domains, the connectivity, all the devices, and the application, all together on a single data analytics open data platform. HP has been the leading founder of the 1M2M standardization, so this goes again, it goes across the IT and the OT domains, and we're committed to continue to drive this standard. HP's DNA is standardization and partnering, so we are committed to drive and apply these standards in everything we do. Then finally, as I mentioned in the beginning, we have the system integration capabilities, we have the breadth of technology and capabilities to combine technology platforms with system integration capabilities for specific industries. Thank you.
Well, thanks very much indeed for those insightful comments. It's interesting to see on the slide that you had about the areas where you were implementing this. I expected to see Singapore up there. That didn't surprise me. I didn't expect to see Norfolk, which is, if you don't know Norfolk, it's a middle of nowhere rural part of the United Kingdom. Are you finding that it's not just the big cities that get this, that actually it's the smaller, not even cities, but rural areas that want to do it?
I think the example I just mentioned, Norfolk, is because they have other problems. So they have problems with healthcare, they have social problems. So the city decided to really do something, take a big step into creating a better place to live, basically. So what we bring from HP is not only technology and capabilities, but we actually bring HP labs. So we're trying to facilitate startups and bring innovation to the community, enabling new type of businesses in here.
And do you have to approach it differently? The smart city stuff is developed for cities which have a very, very high population density, lots of energy, not in the hydrocarbon sense of the word, but just a lot happening. Does that mean that rural areas can't be smart? What about, I don't know, Montana or
of course
parts of sub-Saharan Africa?
No,
can they be smart too?
I think it's the same. So they don't have the traffic congestion problems probably, but they might have other problems like getting healthcare to every citizen or getting educational services to every citizen. So there's different approaches to how you want to be a smarter city. But I think basically, again, as I mentioned, the 6 domains is what we see in our experience is typically being addressed if you want to be a smarter city.
We've got time for 1 or 2 quick questions from Claus. Who's got the first question, please? Who's got the first question for Claus? Happy to take 1 or 2 quick questions. Yes, please, sir. Thanks very much indeed. There's a gentleman towards the centre of the room here. If you could just raise your hand, sir, so that my colleague with the microphone can see you. Thank you very much indeed. Can we get a microphone to this gentleman here? Not sure we can. Let me see if I can grab one for you. Okay. Oh yeah, it's on its way now. Thanks very much indeed. So if you can, when the microphone comes here, if you can give us your short question, and then we'll get a response from Klaus. So maybe if you can tell us your own background as well, where you're based geographically, and perhaps the organization that you represent. That would be interesting context as well. Thanks very much indeed.
Good afternoon, Munir Latki. I'm President and CTO of MyCom OSI. So we are a technology company based here in Dubai, global, but I'm basically here. And we work a lot with service providers, so telecom operators. And I want to my question is basically, what do you see exactly the role of telecommunication operators in this value chain or the ecosystem? Maybe based on your current interactions with them, beyond connectivity, I mean, what role do you see for them beyond connectivity?
Yeah, that's exactly the point. If you're a service provider today, you probably provide connectivity to devices. And there, in the future, there will be more and more different technologies. You'll be providing connectivity over different means. So not just by putting SIM cards in devices, but connecting new type of wireless networks. So that's one opportunity for service providers, but it's still under connectivity. What we believe is, as a service provider, you need to grow in the value chain. So connectivity is about 10 to 20% of the value in IoT technologies, whereas the data and the application is probably around 70%. So at HP, we're helping service providers a lot to grow on top of the connectivity, to capture new revenues beyond pure connectivity. So deploying applications and end-to-end integrated scenarios from sensor over connectivity to the application itself. That's what we believe. A lot of service providers will go in this direction and start monetizing the data rather than just the connectivity.
Claus Hansen of Hewlett-Packard, thanks very much indeed. Fascinating insights. Appreciate you sharing them with us today. Thank you very much.